In this video, I'm going to be talking about spaces in Clutch and how you can use spaces in your workflows to create projects. I think it's a good idea to take a step back and first let's touch on what a project is in Clutch. Projects in Clutch are a way to create sites and libraries, or both at the same time if you prefer. So sites to create something that you want to publish to the web via Clutch hosting, self-hosting, or creating a library, a set of components or something that you want to export to the library or a marketplace to then consume and use in other future Clutch projects. With that covered, let's go ahead and dive into what this video is going to be covering. So we'll be walking through the site and the basis of what a site is and how you can use it, creating layouts, creating pages, and then we'll be jumping into boards and how you can use boards to ideate, create component spaces, and then use those inside of a site. So first, let's jump into a site. And what I've created is a pretty basic site that uses a body with a nav bar and footer. And then it has just 2 pages in it for right now. So we've got a home page and a post page with just a few sections. Additional pages can be added with the plus button. And then to build up the site pages, you would create and just add sections and components. So here we could have a little header, and then below that header, we could add a row with maybe a button. And this would become our CTA of some sort. Do some styling, move to the center, etc. Additional, you can also add layouts via the body by right-clicking. So you can choose to add a page or a layout, or if you prefer, you can also open the library to add a layout or a page. So a couple of different options there for building a site. And then anything that exists here in your site that is publishable, meaning that you haven't marked it as a draft. When you then publish using Clutch hosting, this is what will get published, is your site that you've created and built here. Oftentimes, though, while building sites, you want to ideate in some form or way. You want to work with a couple of different sections, or you're working with a CTA, or in this case, even a card right here. You want to move to a board and work with it there or create in a component. So right now we have a product list with a couple different postcards in here. And essentially, I don't want these to be loose parts anymore. And I now want to work with them as components. So very quickly, I'm going to just create a component out of this. We'll have a video later on that goes into a deeper dive that talks about component creation and all the different ways that you can create a component. But I want to use this example to represent how you can create components and work with them inside boards. So I'm going to create a component, and my component name is going to be called postcard. And then I've got a couple spaces that already exist in my board space. None of these spaces are going to work for me. So I'm going to create a new space. And then this new space automatically gets the name postcard. I'm going to rename this to cards and keep it a little bit more generic. And then this way, if I wanted to ideate and make this card have a couple different variants to where it can work for a variety of different cards on my site. So not necessarily just a postcard, but also blog cards, listing cards, whatever you name it. I can create all of those within the space. So now that I've created this card, I can now ideate and work with it in a couple different ways. So if I wanted to create a couple different variants of my postcard, here I have my default one. I could create a couple of duplicates by duplicating the component itself. Each of these are added to my library. And so if I open the library now, I can go to my components, go to my cards, and here I have postcard and postcard default 2. for my second one. So let's go ahead and make a modification real quick to this card. We'll add a button down at the bottom to default number 2. You probably can't see that because it is extending further than the frame has allowed. So let's give ourselves a little bit more room. There we are. And so now that I've created a brand new board space to ideate, work with my components, and I've created a new variant very quickly, I can go back to my site, back to my post list here. And instead of using this postcard, I can now switch to my default post that includes a button down at the bottom. And that's how you would use boards for creating your components. You can also use boards to just create a place to ideate. So maybe you want to just work with a few header sections. We can create a new board and we can just work with a couple primitives, add some text in there. What else could we drop in? Actually, we can wrap this text in a column, and then on the right-hand side, we'll have an image. And then we'll center align everything and give it some space between. And we have a really basic section that we've created. And I can add this to the library. And then when I go back to my site, I can add maybe just down below our post, our brand new section that we had. So we got header sections, and then here is our section now that we added to the page. Doesn't look great, but that's neither here nor there. That's just going through the workflow of working with site and board spaces. Hope you found this video informational. And if you have any other questions about spaces in general, feel free to ask. We'll be making some more product level videos regarding full site builds, what are layouts, what are pages. We'll also be creating some videos in the future about more complex components and how to create composition components, code components, and how to use them in your projects. So look forward to seeing you all in the next one.